Right now, 2007 is highly regarded as the best college football season of all time. But what if I told you that 2024 could change that? No matter what side you're on, with or against conference realignment, you cannot deny 2024 is going to be an absolute treat. Since there's still about a week till the season starts, go in the comments real quick. Let me know what your team is, how many wins you guys are getting this year, just so I know that you don't bandwagon at the end. If you don't know who I am, I'm Saturday Shenanigans, and I post amazing college football content all season long. Feel free to subscribe so you never miss out on another banger like this. Before we get into the meat of the video, you need to see this. October 12th is a day to remember because it might be the greatest college football Saturday of all time. So many high-profile programs getting after it. I am 100% serious. We've never seen anything like this. Ohio State versus Oregon, that will be a top 5 matchup. You have USC and Penn State, two great programs who played in Rose Bowls, two high-profile programs, then the Red River rivalry as an SEC matchup. Are you kidding? Going along with Ole Miss, who has real playoff chances, versus LSU, who's in the same boat. Going to be high-flying, exciting, and a good old matchup between Florida and Tennessee. Here's the catastrophe, though. October 12th is one of the 5 most popular wedding dates in 2024. I would skip it. If you're a real man, you would not plan your wedding that day or let your wife do it. I don't care what she says. No, the elephant in the room is conference realignment. It's going to be a lot of new. But how about Nick Saban retiring? The king of college football goes down. Who is going to pick up his throne? That is my favorite thing to watch. Is it going to be Kirby Smart? Is it going to be Ryan Day? Probably not Ryan Day. Is it going to be Mario Cristobal? Absolutely not. All right, I'm just trolling you guys at this point. But you get it. We are in uncharted territory. The playoff field is finally expanded. We've been complaining about it for years. We want to see more parity. We want to give the little guys a chance. When have you been able to say in the history of college football that the Kansas Jayhawks, yes, Kansas, has a legitimate shot of being the number 4 seed in the bracket? This is just wild. Not to mention the backlash of the disrespect to group of 5 teams and conferences. Well, that goes out the door because there will be an automatic bid. This year, there are plenty of fantastic Geo5 teams that have rosters like Boise State. A lot of people like Tulane. You could even throw Memphis in the mix. Seeing a non-Power 5 or Power 4 team playing in the pinnacle of college football is going to be amazing. I'm sure all you fans who used to like the BCS Bowls and all the Cinderella stories have been missing it. This is actually real. We all like Fridays, end of the work week, time to relax. But unfortunately, in the past decade of college football, there have been games on that day, but they're pretty crappy. Be real. But that ends this year because 3 out of the 4 major conferences have some marquee matchups on Friday night. Let's go. My favorite game from the bunch is actually Friday the 13th, a ranked matchup between Arizona and Kansas State. 2 teams that could win the Big 12. It is going to be electric. I'm going to have to get the lotion out on Friday night. I told you guys in a previous video. Now let's talk about the most chaotic conference in all of sports. It's going to keep us on our toes all year long. It's the Big 12. We genuinely don't know who's going to win. It could be Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Kansas, Arizona, UCF, even Houston. I see people up in on Iowa State. There is no clear favorite. All the teams are very close in skill, and it's going to be a bloodbath. Flip over to a whole different story in the SEC. Not just a bunch of good programs going after it, but a bunch of elite programs. That conference didn't need to get better at all. Now they added Oklahoma and Texas. What is going to happen? It's not just Georgia and Bama anymore. You have Texas looming there at 4. Ole Miss, they've done an incredible job with Lane Kiffin at 6. The Missouri Tigers are on the rise at 11. They have a very easy schedule. You even have Oklahoma at 16. Oh, wait. And I forgot about LSU and Tennessee. This is going to get freaky. In the Big Ten, there's the big dogs, Ohio State and Oregon. But don't forget about the defending national champs, the Michigan Wolverines, and also Penn State. Penn State would have made the postseason each of the last 6+ years if it was a 12-team format. They're always knocking on the door, and this can finally be their chance. Another new thing to look forward to in college football. Is USC not an intriguing story? When they announced that they were flipping from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, the entire narrative was that they couldn't keep up with the physicality of the conference. Well, Lincoln Riley just beefed up his boys on the line, and he may have something to say about that. With a new star quarterback named Miller Moss, some great weapons on the outside such as Zachariah Branch, it's going to be fun and chaotic. They play LSU week 1. For Ryan Day and Ohio State, it's a pivotal year. You just saw your rivals eat the confetti for the championship. You lost to the Big Blue each of the last 3 years. It's now or never. With all the talent, you have Will Howard coming in, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, the #1 wide receiver in football, Quinshawn Judkins. That backfield is going to be electric. I'm very excited to see what this team can do. Will Florida State get their revenge in the ACC? Now, it's not going to be a cakewalk like it was last year. You have teams improving, such as Miami. I'm not high on their coach Mario Cristobal and his game management, but boy did he go crazy in the portal, getting a Pac-2 duo of Cam Ward and all-conference running back Damian Martinez. This team, it finally might be their time. And you can't forget about Clemson, a team that finished their 2023 season red hot and will finally have the verdict about Dabo Swinney on if he can adjust to this new era of football. I'm very happy to see it. You also have a couple sleepers like a ranked NC State team who brought in a good class through the portal, led by quarterback Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, and SMU, who has a high-flying offense and the easiest schedule in the Power 4. Now, I made a short about it, and you guys were screaming at me saying it's Syracuse. According to the analytics, SMU has the easiest path in the entire sport. Imagine a team yearning for power conference college football for so long, they finally get in and they could win their conference in year 1. Oh my, that's the story that it's all about. 2023, as I'm sure we all know, was not a fantastic year for upsets. It felt like we got blue-balled week in and week out, but I 100% firmly believe that will change in 2024. Because these conferences are so deep, you have the battle of the Titans week in and week out. When you do go on the road to face an Indiana or a Purdue or a Kentucky, you are bound to get upset in a trap game. There is going to be so much cannibalism and chaos. Do not expect the rankings to stay the exact same. And one more thing I'm going to say, it's going to be very difficult to have a team go 12-13-0 in this new landscape of college football. In 2024, the playoff field is more open and fair than ever. Conferences are absolutely loaded, leading to some fantastic matchups and also some catastrophic upsets. I can see it coming. Plus, one more thing. First round playoff games will be played on campus. Imagine these electric environments. Come on now. The first time for everything. 2024 new era. I am so for it. Go comment if you're hyped. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, I did change my shirt, by the way.